Resolve. Well, that came back up, so that makes me feel like maybe
it was just
Resolve.
a little bit of time. Just a little bit of time.
There's that red mouse pad. Yeah, it's very red.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's just unusual because most people don't have a red mouse pad. It's usually dark or sponsor colored, but here we go. Pantheon, Azir, Varus. On the left side, though, where things get a little interesting, that Nocturne is banned, so do not fear. Still a thing because they won't be able to use the Nocturne fear. As Trundle is also gone.
Yeah.
See what this final ban is. They banned Orianna last time, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see if they do that again. With the Nocturne already gone, maybe a little bit less value for that. Maybe banning a Rise.
You can just ban Talia and then pick Azir if they don't ban it, but instead it's a Sivir ban.
Baiting the Talia-Azir matchup, where obviously Bulldog will have the counter pick, but I think you prefer Talia in that case, but Azir has been stronger, so it's just kind of an interesting conversation to have. Of course, Yehu will get the first choice, and the Poppy gets banned, so that's what we're going to see. I don't think anyone's going to be first picking Rakan, because Poppy is gone, especially with Talia available. And I personally prefer, right now, the Talia, actually. They want to respond, so... I guess.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
pick first.
They ban Nocturne and Trundle, so they just want to first pick
Yeah.
a jungler. That kind of goes with anything. It does give Azir first, and Skarner very good into the Xin Zhao. If he charges in, you impale him, you kill him.
The reason I like Talia more is, first of all, it's a strong matchup into the Azir in general, but it also gives you a lot more global power and objective control. Like, Azir has one of the most teamfight warping ultimates in the game for objectives, but he's not able to use it to wall effectively. I mean, he can kind of do that, but he can't just say, oh, 3 of your players can't be in this fight for a few seconds, and now we secure Dragon. Whereas Talia can do that, so it can get you out of a lot of sticky situations, and she still has pick potential. She's got a mini Azir ult on one of her basic abilities. Azir does way more damage, so that's kind of the trade-off. Alistar going to get pushed up here, actually, into the first phase. Poor Andil had a weaker performance than I think we'd expect in Game 1.
Yeah, they kind of put him on Nautilus duty, and it just led to him going in and dying to Yunara over and over. So this time, he's going to have a much better chance. Sion being hover here, the Trundle is banned. Something we see all the time is the Sion priority skyrocket in that case, but instead...
I'd rather see Ornn, to be honest, with the draft they've already shown. But either frontliner feels really good with the Azir, and they are going to go for the Sion ultimately. Sion is really strong as a brick wall in lane. Very difficult to dive. Opens up a lot of options for you in the bottom lane, because you know that if they are trying to push your bottom lane, like, the Sion is going to be strong. If you want to play through bottom lane, and dive the enemy bottom 2v2, your Sion is going to be fine if the jungler tries to cross map. So, very powerful, not to mention just the front line he's going to provide. And if he gets hit by a shove, Talia does not care. Or sorry, the Sion does not care.
Yeah. Can be annoying. They're probably going to need some kind of hyper carry here for Teddy, which wouldn't be too surprising. Would really like that Sivir, but also, you know, Azir Sivir we've seen many times, especially with this front line that they already have. So I think it's fine that they denied it from DNF, who do get first pick after the second phase of bans.
I want to see Rich play a champion that has a ton of side lane pressure to play through the Weaver's Wall rotations. You know, that's where you can get a lead over this Sion, sure, but you will crush him in side lane later. I mean, I think Jace is something we might look at in the past. Probably not really going to be the answer in this case, especially with both Sion and the Skarner there. Teddy has carried a lot on Kai'Sa, although I wouldn't say right now we've seen a strong, you know, target to dive on. It kind of alludes to Berserker potentially playing Ezreal here, as we'll see if that's the final ban. Ezreal has really fallen off recently.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him prioritized very heavily, but I think it's a pretty good shout in this draft. Corki also pretty good here.
I just feel like you're going to need something to deal with the two tanks. You know, you could try to ignore them and then say, you know, you've got enough damage eventually with your Ezreal.
I wonder what this Lulu ban means, because pairs really well with, like, Aphelios, Zeri. which I don't think Jinx, I don't think DNF were necessarily looking for here. Makes me wonder if, like, Teddy Ondil, Aphelios Thresh angle in the bottom lane, pulling a carry Aguma, as Senna works incredibly well with the front line they have. And since they're already so late game focused, it fits the identity of the comp as well. What's going to be the pick here? Because they banned the Lucian. Is it the Aphelios
Thresh?
Or Aphelios Tom Kench could work here as well.
No, they already have Alistair.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Alistair?
I was so all in on this idea, man. I was like, no, this makes sense. Come on.
You see bot lane picked 4-5 all the time.
No, that's where my brain is at. So
the Jhin.
Apologize to everyone.
Again, these two carries don't really deal with the tanks.
I mean, give me something crazy like Aatrox, Camille. You have to hard win this side lane, Rich. You have to. You has to play through you. You need to be able to get on top of these carries and let Teddy follow up. Like
Nidalee. It's just Aatrox that's very much more in his wheelhouse. And Bard.
Bard is incredibly strong with this comp because he can set up so many things. Like he can set up an Impale. He can set up a Emperor's Divide. He can set up a charged Q for Dudu.
Yeah, he can also protect if Alistair gets a really good angle. I feel like DNF smashed this draft out of the park, over DRX especially.
Like the Game 1 draft where we thought, okay, this is really tough to play the Yunara. They have all the tools. And I was like, well, Dudu's equalizers have to be really good. You know, it's going to have to be one of those kind of games. I feel like in this one, Rich has to crush lane. He has to be relevant throughout the entire mid game. They have to play through him super well. Otherwise, this Jhin can't function. The Talia isn't going to be as strong. And, yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. But Teddy, the thing about putting Teddy on Jhin, I think this is one of the things that frustrates a lot of people about the Jhin pick in general. It's not a pick where you really do all the things. Your team does things, and then you're like, all right, cool, I'm ready to follow up on what you're doing over here. That's why I think Guma has been such a phenomenal Jhin, because T1 has some of the best teamwork that you're ever going to see in League of Legends. That roster has been together for so long. And so Guma is a fantastic Jhin player, but then his team always has the angles to set him up. This draft has some setup here, but I worry that DNF just have way too many options.
Just wait it out, and I think this draft wins eventually, which will happen in this game. Let's hop into the Rift for game number 2. Alrighty, game number 2, DNF. Got a good draft. They won game 1 very handily. They're looking better as a team with Quantum in. He is playing Bard, which is very difficult and a lot more... It's very different to the way that Rel plays, right? You know, Rel, you just kind of find the angle, you put your face into 3 of the enemy members, and you're feeling pretty good, whereas Bard certainly has a lot more finesse in this kit.
Do you remember, because I don't, and I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm sure someone will, like, I don't remember, let's just say this, so Valdez is immune. The champ that Morgan was playing, the champ that was being played into Morgan, that Dudu was playing, because Morgan was playing Cho'Gath, right? In that famed game that DNF lost, where they had an 11,000 gold lead. Because the comp was pretty similar to this, right?
Sion.
Or was it just Sion? So, like, because it might have been Sion, that's what makes sense in my brain.
They were playing Blitzcrank,
right?
And I remember being like, they're playing Blitzcrank and a Sion.
Because Berserker was on Senna.
Yeah.
So maybe the game plan for DRX is like, let them have all the scaling, because what works out for DNF most of the time is they get to the late game and mess it up. Maybe we'll pull a bro.
That's fair.
I just don't know if that's going to happen against this roster, as Berserker is totally fine with this exchange.
Yeah, totally fine. Gets healed up, you know, uses the tempo heal, and 2 summoners are actually used by Ondil and Teddy. Heal and the barrier of Teddy. So Berserker, if he finds an angle, could potentially just try to ghost them down, you know, especially if the jungler comes over, which, speaking of which, Pioshik is in the jungle of Sponge. So vertical jungling here. Sponge is coming on over.
Yeah, this timing will work out for Pioshik, I think. Actually, not quite.
He doesn't have Smite. I think he still gets it,
Yeah,
but like,
does.
I don't know if he gets away. Okay, very strange kind of early jungling here, but he will get away.
I mean, I don't think that Sponge was able to see the secure there, so didn't know exactly how close he was. As this is an interesting all-in.
Yeah,
Kind of works out.
chipping away at Berserker, who has been stepping up, just trying to stack up as much as possible.
Yeah, Berserker and, you know, trusting in the late game have been two things that go well together today. Did not work out for his Senna game last time around, but...
what happened here? Ondil's just dead!
Ondil's having a rough day, man.
First blood given over to Quantum. I don't even know what happened, but he got rooted at the end and died.
Yeah, I guess he just stepped too far forward and got caught. And, I mean, Alistra has 7 less armor on this patch, Valdez.
Yes, very squishy. Bulldog coming on over. We do have a TP eventually is going to land. Sponge getting pretty low. Bulldog going to walk away from that one. Here's Quantum. And you know what I like to see is 3 members of DNF going in the same direction. Didn't amount to anything, but you know, they're on the same page today, Wolf.
Yeah. I'm sure we will get a replay eventually of what happened exactly down there. Okay, speak and you shall receive. Ondo goes into turret. And yeah, stunned, and then...
You know, that armor actually does play a huge role in that early trade.
It absolutely does, and some of the earlier trades leading up to that as well.
He looked so squishy. It's kind of crazy. You can't just get free, you know, headbutt pulverize combos anymore because you will get punished.
I like that. I actually think it's a good change. Because it was kind of dumb what Alistra could do for a really long time.
Especially because he went... you know, Unsealed Spellbook, which is very common, but also, you know, you think about another champ that goes in for short trades is Nautilus, you almost always see the Aftershock on him. I think we also saw the Unsealed Spellbook played by Undul on him in the last game, which may be part of the reason why he was dying there.
Another thing we just saw, which is part of why I'm on the Taliyah versus the Azir hype train, is that Azir saw his 6 and 8. 6 of those 8 are very recently, as Taliyah is just going to shove this Skarner away. You know, I think teams have really figured out how to play around this. We often see that trade of Taliyah Azir. I'd love to see the win rate of the matchup itself, actually, because that'd be really interesting. I would expect that it's slightly Taliyah favored, but the global impact on the map and objective control is just so powerful right now with how team fights are working in this meta. So we'll see if Bulldog can turn it around. Good performance there in that last little skirmish. Really nice juke on the seismic shove. Goshic continuing to invade Sponge's jungle.
Yeah. It's being very annoying. Doesn't necessarily have to do this as Skarner. You could just try to farm it out, but he got invaded himself. Berserker gets engaged on here in the top lane, as now going to have to use that heal to get away.
Get Rich here. Like, Rich is dunzo, man. I
think Dudu could almost just kill him alone, but either way, he's going to have Skarner here to help out. Pilchik with the last hit. As Berserker just backing right in front of them. My guy.
Gets hit by the captive audience damage there as well.
Jeez.
That was very scary, but man, Berserker has been known to play on the edge. I don't know if he should be playing on the edge in this case.
He's gone berserk.
All right. Well, that's a big win, though. Pioshik both gets the Krugs away and then has a really nice gank timing onto Rich. Rich is playing super far up but doesn't have any defensive vision. And I really do think the Aatrox is a huge part of the win cons here for DRX that, unfortunately, this is going to put a big dent in. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, Dudu hits level 6, has his ult.
We got a dive bring in top lane.
Yeah, we do. Spawn just hanging out.
Shinjao waiting in the wings, but the wave is being cleared, so they don't really have a wave. Here comes the Taliyah as well, and they kill the Senna before any of that happens. Yehu gonna eat 2 turret shots, but he does get away. So ends up being a good dive for DRX, although Bulldog gets a little consolation prize in mid.
I do think that this is a really big win for DRX because this pushes the Senna out of farming both her souls and money. So, you know, Teddy this time has a pretty significant lead he did not have, obviously in the unfavorable matchup in game 1 into the Yunara. Pioshik doing a lot of work this game, but was unfortunately not able to get here in time. They also see him on a ward. He's pinged instantly, so they know the timing is really good. The Weaver's Wall here allowing you to make these types of plays.
All right, little sweep in the mid lane. Yeah, who is fine because he's got his teammates nearby. It's all about the power of friendship. And so, you know, if it were 2v1, maybe they make a play, but they just call it off immediately.
Bulldog down a flash now, as they're actually trying to push the advantage further. Grubs are live, so this is a really precarious position here for DNF. Without the Azir ultimate, after that exchange, I just don't think they can look for any sort of impale fight. Dudu is Scion.
Yeah, still trying to get a good trade here and at least push him out. I don't think they have any delusions of getting the kill just yet.
Yeah, or even getting his ult probably, but they want to get prio. And they do have it, and they will get the grubs. In fact, it looks like all three will go over, you know, for some of the reasons we were mentioning just before. And this Taliyah is having a good time.
Those Bard heals, even when they're fully charged, are just so pitiful.
Yeah.
It's like, he does way too much. He doesn't need more healing, but like, it's just, it's like, why even, I don't know. Why even have them?
Look, Quantum's just helping, man.
He's doing his best.
He's like, look, I can be your honey fruit.
Yeah.
Honey fruit's stronger than his heals, but like...
What skin is that, by the way? I don't even... It's got like the little alien babies, or they're not. They're like little tubers.
They're
you know?
turnips, right? Turnips.
Maybe?
I think they're turnips.
I'm very curious what that is because they're pretty cute. They're like swimming in the cup, little mug. That's the healing.
I feel like he and the turnips are supposed to talk in Banjo-Kazooie voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's some heals, it says underneath.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of Bard in a nutshell anyway.
Yeah.
Bard just doing Bard things. We talked about this yesterday.
He did, you know, find Bottles' molehill that gave him all his skills.
Yeah.
We can magical journey and stuff now. And get turnips. A maximum amount of turnips to follow. Yeah, not sure what skin that is, but Atlas would know.
It looks pretty cool. Yeah, he would know. He's like the one guy on our team that just always kind of knows. Going in onto Quantum. He does not have his flash. He has a ton of healing, but there are 3 guys here ready to eviscerate him, and eventually they will do just that. Sponge says, well, I'll take the kill if you don't want it, Teddy. And Sponge does pick up 1.
Berserker not even going to ult. Andil, are you crazy today, or he's really...
Oh,
it might
picked
work.
out of midair, and yeah, he still has his ult, so he's totally fine. Pioche goes for the Impale, but very much overestimating the amount of damage that he and Berserker could do to an Alistar with ult.
Yeah, I mean, I frankly overestimated it as well. I thought Berserker with the ult there was going to be able to secure that one. Bulldog once again does get a little bit of plate gold here for the skirmish since he wasn't involved in it. Not directly, at least. And that will be some consolation, but really did not expect that to go as well as it did, but the Alistar ult is still powerful. And that is also going to be another objective picked up here for DRX. So a few misses from Andil, but that one was a miss from Wolf on the assessment.
So more importantly here, Shanghai Scrolls Bard is the skin. I think that's the new line. Not like the newest, but the one before.
Relatively new, yeah.
Quantum is very much playing the way Bard, you know, feels.
Yeah, just like you said yesterday, it's just Bard things.
It's just Bard things. He didn't have to be there standing on vision with no wards himself, just kind of hanging out. But he will have to flash now.
He had flash and magical journey, so is he really in danger? Not until the next time he's caught. He's caught here and does ult to try to buy time, but Pioshik isn't there fast enough. If Pioshik's a little bit closer and there's no Taliyah here and he hits the Impale after the combo or sets up a combo, then it's fine. Honestly, watching this back a second time, this isn't really Andil making a mistake. He's just playing aggressively and is able to capitalize because he has headbutt there. So I apologize one more time because I think it was absolutely a great play there as he does end up helping secure the kill onto Pioshik. Now has his Impale back up.
Yeah.
This Azir's getting bigger. The Senna's getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of have to sit back and not bleed too much, you know? They got an early lead, which was great. After that, you know, some good plays from DRX, who got the Dragon, they got the Grubs, they got some big picks. So, you know, they turned 1 kill into 2 on the bottom side of the map. So this is kind of what DRX have to do, you would imagine. You know, they have some options in the late game. They have the split push threat of the Aatrox. They have the Taliyah to help out. It's all the stuff you talked about during draft. The Jhin, you know, much better in the tanks nowadays than he used to be, especially with his modern build that we see. So there are still options for DRX. I still think that DNF got the better draft, especially given the propensity for both of these teams to kind of just sit back and do nothing. Doing a little bit of something, in this game at least, is DRX, and they definitely have to.
Yeah. Rich is still 400 gold behind this Scion, and still has yet to be involved in fights, but I think that's pretty normal because we haven't had, you know, the second big dragon fight where everyone starts to feel like they have their first item and they can actually force a fight. You know, that's where you really want to be making sure you can find something. Or Herald, right, which is also spawning in 90 seconds here. Rich does have, right now, his teleport, as Pioshik is caught, question mark?
Yeah, he's getting exhausted. They have the Jhin as well for the extra damage. The Sentinel is going to help out a bit, but Pioshik just walking in a straight line, didn't have anywhere else to go. And that makes it easy for another kill to go over to Teddy. I think he got it at least. He and Sponge both have 2 and are getting quite fed.
Wasn't able to get anything out of that Impale, and that's really unfortunate. This is a really bad timing to get picked. Obviously, the Herald hasn't spawned yet, but it means that DRX can control all of that vision. They have vision in the red buff pit, in the brush to the left of it, so all angles of approach here are known. And this is where DRX are trying to make this type of aggressive play, and it's Ondil once again who sets Teddy up. They get the root. Pioshik's then stunned. He's just kind of in a bouncy castle. Vin is exhausted even, and he just cannot do anything. Tries to go for the Impale. It's just not going to work out. Down he goes.
Little play down here. Bulldog was, well, bullying Rich. We got TP coming in, but how long is that going to take from the Scion from the top lane? Bulldog, very nice divide. Taliyah coming on over. Dudu does get here, but it's 4v2 until, well, the rest of the team comes in, but Bulldog is already dead. And so DNF responding big time to that play just to lose Bulldog.
Yeah, that really hurts. I mean, it's a Scion, so if you just make the call, we're going to lose Bulldog, and Scion's going to push. You don't really feel good about that either. But with the fact that Teddy was also pretty close by, and he's Jhin, you're kind of like, oh, you know, this isn't going to be a numbers advantage game for us. Taliyah shows up. And I'm still so Taliyah-pilled, to be honest, Valdez, but it's working out in these types of skirmishes.
That's fair. She is very high-brow for a reason. I'm actually curious about her win rate. 9-4.
Yeah.
69%.
Pretty good. Nice.
Yeah.
Not sure about the win rate into Azir. I'm not able to actually check that.
And she gets played pretty often into Azir, or at least did. So
DRX are going to get this Herald for free with the timing of both the control they had topside, that pick in the team fight win bottom, the TP that was available for Rich gets him back up to the top side. I think contesting this with DNF's comp would be ridiculous, and they know it, and they decide not to go for it. And that means that, yeah, it's another big objective going over to DRX they can now utilize to try to get Dragon Prio to go for double Dragon. And I mean, they kind of have their choose their own adventure of a mid game now. Like, things are going the way they need to go for them to win this game. Berserker defensive here.
Yeah. Sponge is just so strong on the Xinjiao compared to Pioshik that in any of these fights, like, even if Pioshik were there as a 5, like, Azir and Senna don't have the damage yet, even if he hits like a big Impale. So we've seen Owner do crazy things from super low health on the Xinjiao. I feel like DNF really cannot fight anything that DRX want to fight, especially if Sponge is there. If he's not there, you know, you get like a little pick here and there, sure. It's going to keep you afloat.
I think the things that they can fight are Berserker fighting minions with Static Shiv in mid lane.
Yeah.
And Bulldog, if he's given some time, Taliyah's not in the lane, hit that turret with your Nashor's Tooth. Those are the things that they can fight. They can fight the enemies. They cannot fight the players. Not right now. Not in a direct sense. Dudu can hang out into this Aatrox and just chill. And that is going to be what he's doing in this one. They are actually grouping for Dragon here a little bit. As you can see, Quantum is rotating down his ult is online. But taking a direct fight here is quite risky, especially considering Yehu does have teleport. Bulldog does not. So DNF could, I mean, if they fail a fight here, the game could just end, right? Like, you could just, that could be the back-breaking moment. So they need to be really cautious about actually contesting this dragon, and it looks like they know it.
Just do not fight and hope that it's Chemtech Soul again. Going in, actually, is Bulldog immediately going to get stunned. And we've seen a lot of Talias actually fail those rocks when the Azir goes in. So Yehu was very much on the money and on the ball there.
Yeah, a lot harder than it actually looks.
Oh, it's just Hextech Soul. Okay. Very different from game 1.
Yeah, that's the high roll on the double dragon. And with Taliyah and Jhin in your comp, it feels really good.
Oh, yeah. I think DRX are liking their chances right now. Big early lead. Hextech Soul on the horizon.
And Bulldog just doesn't even get the pick onto Yehu. You know, he doesn't waste his ultimate either, right? But like, it just feels like they're hoping to scale. It's a bit of a hope to scale. Hope DRX are not proactive. They have been quite proactive so far.
Yeah. It's been good. I was worried like first 5 minutes, but after that it's been good. Dudu trying to actually kill an Aatrox is kind of funny.
It almost kind of forced a flash. It was a little bit scary there. Remember, Dudu also still had ult available. Could have been really scary there. He could even tried to flash for it, but pushing an Aatrox out of the lane already is a pretty big win for the Scion in this case. And there's nothing to fight for here. Just want to remind DNF.
Yeah, you don't really have to fight for this vision. Taking a bunch of damage already is Pyosik, but so did Andil. We got a wall coming down here. Pyosik will be forced to take a bunch of damage and just rock him into the wall. Meanwhile, Andil is also taking damage on the front line. Sponge, he's the fed one, but he's nearly going to go down. Flash on in from Dudu, gets the job done. And well, Rich, I mean, trying to frontline here. They got a block for Bulldog. As, ooh, nearly gets Quantum as well on the backside. But actually a pretty good fight for DNF. They win it, and they get away. Meanwhile, Berserker's just farming more souls onto Teddy. Already at 57 here at 20 minutes. He's on pace. But DNF, very good fight there.
Yeah, I don't respect the decision of DNF to fight there, but I will respect how well they peeled and actually fought the fight out. I'm like, okay, you shouldn't do this, but
the execution
damn, you got hands. Yeah, that was actually pretty sweet. Like, this team as well, part of why I don't trust this team to actually fight that one out is because it means everyone has to be on the same page. You got to deal with the Weaver's Wall, everything. Like, watch this. Because initially you're like, okay, what are we doing? Pyoshik's going to get shoved. Weaver's Wall is going to come through. The Senna does not have enough stacks yet. Like, this is not a winnable fight. Like, at this moment, you just pause here, you're like, this is a disaster. But then, look at how well Berserker positions. They focus down Andil. Pyoshik tanks it up. Dudu gets in here. He's able to show up with the TP that he has. Get on top of Sponge. Pyoshik lives here. The ultimate is fantastic. Berserker, they kite back. And there's so much CC to keep Rich at bay. Berserker's just constantly chipping away at that health bar. No one can close the gap on this Senna. Berserker doesn't even have to use his sums here in the fight. And it really looked good there for DRX, but DNF just simply outplay. And
yeah.
Rich did not do really a whole lot of anything in that fight. He just could not actually get to the champions. He didn't have the reach.
Yeah, he didn't have the reach. I mean, Teddy was doing a little bit. Yehu blew double combo onto a Skarner, right? So that's one thing that Pyoshik did well, is kind of bait a bunch of damage into him. Like, this front line is extremely tanky, especially when you've got Senna and Bard right behind you. So you're just, if the Taliyah at this point with 2 items, you know, fair enough, like he's doing pretty well there, but like that's still not enough damage to actually get through a Skarner. So
I mean, I
very
think
nicely played.
They thought potentially, especially with how Yehu played that fight was kind of a foregone conclusion, that DNF would just walk away and be like, oops, we lost Pyoshik, but no, they just outplay it. Otacon start here for DRX. They have Weaver's Wall, they have a lot of critical summoners here, and it's going to be hard for DNF to enter. I actually really like this call. Dudu cannot get here without his ultimate. He's going to use it to run over, but he won't have it for the fight.
Yeah, we have a wall coming down, so Yehu says, cool story, but the Bard ultimate going to keep it alive. Pyoshik, he's in the pit. They stop it at 3,600. That's very smart from DRX, but already a ton of damage done to Rich. And that means that maybe it wasn't that smart after all. It's going to be a flip, though. The knockup goes on a Sponge. The timing isn't there. And 5 health, and Sponge gets it. That's all you need. Tons of damage, though, from Bulldog on the right side. Impale goes down onto the front line. Sponge will be the sacrifice, but he picks up the Otacon.
Now, can they get the rest of these members out? I think likely yes. Not the greatest chase comp here. They're going to look for a shove.
I mean, they should just be able to get Quantum here. I think reaching a little bit too far.
And Bulldog was the one who had ult. You know, if he was the one who was wrapping around there, I think it would have felt like a different story, but sadly, not to be the case. By the way, Berserker hitting a pretty good pace on his stacking. He's at 71 stacks at this point, so that is another win column we'll be talking about in a moment, but once again, feels like, DNF, I'm not sure if you can really fight this, but they play it so well. It's 5 health on the secure here for Sponge, and Berserker, his ult is fantastic here, but unfortunately was not able to get enough damage done, nor with this turret up here are they able to chase. And then this call with this ward dropped in here, I believe it's Teddy's ward. Regardless, doesn't matter. It's really nice turn there. Good reaction to see a free kill on a Bard. As this Dragon would be a huge boon for DNF, would deny Soul Point and give them a ton of extra time. And they do have enough prio. And with the rapid fire cannon done here for Berserker, I think they're starting to actually be able to just straight up 5v5 here.
Let's see how this goes. Ondil, nice angle, but he's going to be spotted, and now it's maybe just going to be another flip here as nice Bard ultimate onto Teddy, and that's the one guy, the setup, but the wall actually going to interrupt the Scion. But still, the front line here of DNF looking pretty strong, pretty healthy, as Dudu just getting it. Big 3-man knockup from the side of Ondil, but the Dragon goes over to DNF. Bulldog on the run, he gets taken out. And now they just exit. They got the Dragon, though, and that's going to extend this game for so long. Yahoo! Just goes in, and it's actually going to work out amazingly for the team. They get 3 on the backside of that fight, and it looks like they'll get a 4th as well.
And I can't even fault Pushik for the play. Like, you know, that seemed like a slam dunk, but he just has enough health to get away. I don't even think he had Seraph, since this is very funny. Chase the Scion. Chase the Scion. Keep chasing that Scion.
Yeah, there's no Baron, so...
And then run from the Scions, ironically. That was a fight that looked like it maybe could have actually been the fight that gives DNF the win. Like, they were in good position, right? They had the combo on Teddy. Like, watch Teddy get caught by this ult, and then the interruption, you mentioned it in the play-by-play, is so massive here, is he's looking for the slam. Teddy gets out on flash as well, and then it's the damage from Teddy, but also Yehu that really does insane work here. The interrupt on Bulldog's dash means he can't get the backline access to look for the shove. Has to use it here a little bit more defensively. It's not really the angle he wanted. And then here it's like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've been looking for him, but ultimately ends up backfiring, and Teddy is able to get that follow-up there with the ult. Dudu gets chased down. Please don't show me all of that again. Now it's a 5,000 gold lead for DRX. Baron is in their sights, and it looks like we may have a series on our hands.
It might happen. I mean, 5,000
DRX
gold
always go to 3, Valdez. It's the rules.
Pretty huge, and at the same time, you know, DNF still have a ton of scaling, but I don't know, you know, I talked about the Bard, but also this comp, it's not the easiest thing to play out. It's not Annie Rel, you know?
No.
Like game number 1. So certainly going to take a little bit of finesse for DNF to try to just extend this game as far as possible. They got the Drake, so there's that. That's actually very important, you know, given that there is such a huge gold lead. Like, imagine if DRX were on Soul Point right now. How would DNF fight the next fight? I don't think he really can. Yes, okay, we're going to have a wall come down, maybe just trying to trap them, but they do have Bard, so...
That's kind of a win for DNF, actually a big win. Teddy caught.
Looking for Teddy, but the issue is, yeah, nobody can really follow up on that. A little bit of a overreach here. Ondil has to go into his own ult. Meanwhile, the knockback here onto the front line is gigantic as DNF just hanging out, and they get punished for it. Down goes the Skarner, and Dudu's just ulting away. Meanwhile, the rest of DNF just trying to run, but the lockdown here from Teddy is there. As we do have some healing. Dudu looks like he is tanky enough, as another big shot will come through, but they got Pyoshik.
Dudu does have TP, but without the jungler, and with the damage this Talia has, with IE also done for Teddy, I think that they just get this. So clear the vision. just to be safe, but I just don't see any world where DNF can contest this. And this is kind of one of those moments where it's like, well, can you actually win the game if they have Baron? They're going to double TP commit. With no jungler here, they just have to look for the fight win.
Yeah, I mean, Andal's just going to flash away, and I think you just smite this down and go away. So that's totally fine for DRX.
That turret is barely standing here, but I think that alone will be enough of a deterrent of DNF for the follow-up. Maybe back a little bit safer.
Kind of stops some backs. I mean, it's annoying, but it's not really going to do all too much. I think DRX are in a very comfortable spot now.
I mean, DNF double TP to still lose the objective. They will get this turret as consolation. Bounty is, as you mentioned...
objective?
Yeah, objectively they got it. And I think objectively it doesn't change too much either. This attempt is one of those DNF moments, right? Where you're like, okay, like they use the Weaver's Wall, but you guys are fishing pretty deep. You're a little bit out of your depth on this one. Like there's a decisive call, but it's not the right one, and the rest of the team isn't there to follow up. And this is, unlike Quantum's incredible calls in game one, kind of a solo queue moment, it felt like there, and there's just no capitalization as Teddy is totally fine. And then the shove. I mean, the shoves for Yehu have been great all game. And you're playing Skarner, pretty tanky, but will eventually get blown up. Now they're just going to siege.
I mean, Yehu went for the tank buster build. It does a lot of damage. He's eventually going to have Void Staff. And, you know, there's no MR outside of a Null Magic Mantle for Pyoshik. Got a bit there on Dudu. And is now looking for the angle here on a Ridge, but he is quite fast. Just going to avoid the ult. Not really going to amount to too much. I like the idea of trying to look for a pick, especially with the Baron push coming on in. And now we have a wall coming in. The knock back on the wall gets sponged into the base. Not sure if they actually wanted that. Pyoshik going to flash on in. It's a trade of a couple, but down will go Dudu. And DRX will like that one.
Incredible synergy between Andal and Yehu in this, though. Like, Yehu is just like, just go on him, man. It doesn't even matter. I'm going to flip him. It's done. I have the tank buster build, as you mentioned. And he doesn't quite have the Void Staff yet, but he still hurts. And, I mean, Teddy is also huge. And with no ult to delay the game from Quantum here, he's still got half that cooldown left. They can continue to siege. If they get any picks here, I think they just end. And maybe they just slowly push anyways. 40 seconds left on this Baron. They decide to play it safer and pull back for Soul Point. But now with this base open, I mean, how many ways back into this game are there really for DNF? Like, Andal's just like, I'm going, and Yehu's like, I'm here for it, man. I'm ready to flip him.
So funny that Sponge got knocked into the base by the Talia wall, his own team's Talia wall.
And he just doesn't care either, because he just gets out, and, you know, Dudu is just not that tanky when you're this far behind. Cleaver at the ready, Void Staff at the ready, double Cleaver. Get cleaved, Dudu.
Omega Cleave.
LDR at the ready. I mean, is he even a tank?
Yeah.
Let's find out right now.
It's the thing, Jing can kind of deal with this Sponge in an awkward spot, but he is Xin Zhao, so just kind of ults and walks away. And DNF they're just playing turret defense now, sitting back and trying desperately to not die.
Some next level observing. He's like, actually, in fact, Yehu delayed the push in the bottom lane. With the lead. Those minions were impacted.
Yeah.
This is not a Baron push, so I think DRX should be careful about overcommitting here. There are several wards that Bulldog and Dudu can TP to, but they're just going to go on Pyoshik.
Yeah, they're going to find Pyoshik here once again. The ult's totally going to miss. This Bard is also a miss so far in this game, and Quantum should be going down here as well. Rich has got the angle on a Bulldog, who is Azir, and has to flash anyway. The two of them, though, I mean, Azir and Senna do so much, but there haven't been any fights where they can really show off their stuff. Now, 10,000 gold the lead. DRX, as long as they don't do a DNF, they should be totally fine in this game. They're going to take down all three inhibitors and take the Hex Gates out.
DRX keeping the 3-gamer streak alive, Valdez, and putting DNF back in a rough spot in terms of potentially being eliminated for play-in contention. This comp is hard. You mentioned it earlier for DNF, but from behind, I mean, this far behind, practically impossible. And we've talked so much about how hard it is when you're losing, kind of unplayable. But I do think the issue stemmed before the 5K plus gold lead for Quantum's performance on this. I mentioned he likes to play enchanters, but it certainly doesn't look like it in this game. And it's a far cry from his incredible rel performance in game 1. And I think from here on out, we can be like, well, they infinitely scale with this Senna, but I won't. Some people might say, like, there's still a chance. Hold on, he's got 100.
But Wolf, there's still a chance.
Eventually, from his fountain, he can hit Teddy, and Teddy's fountain when he respawns. No, it's... This wall is going to be a little bit more effective than the last one, I think, at cutting Dudu off.
Dudu has his flash, so eventually he can just, there you go. Pioshik on the flank. He's like, uh-oh, I should not be on the flank. And he's going to just dash away for now. The chase is still on, though. So trying to bake into the base. They can't quite do it just yet. Not without the Baron. I think you just go Baron and you play it safe and push on in. I mean, if you go Baron and like for some crazy reason you're not able to end with that, you use the Baron to then get Hextech Soul. They have so many win cons. And they are literally camping the Baron for spawn with triple inhibitors down, 6 super minions pushing towards the base. And Rich in the lane where the only defense was there for DNF, where they kind of had that one pushed out a little bit. He's like, nah, not really. I'm on that. And with Baron and TP for Rich, just going to TP back to the bottom lane. This should be the red carpet that DRX walked down to game 3. Should be. In theory. Double TP still available. This time, really not a great ward angle. We just have to have one last fight, and that's going to determine how it goes. I feel like they should sync up the waves a little bit better. Ondel very low, actually. Going to take a turret shot on top of it all, so gets redemption. In goes Rich. He's just trying to find the angle, just trying to push in and take down the turrets. And Dudu quite low, actually. They have so much ability to get through the Scion. It's the last shot is going to get it done. Berserker lands that ult. You see the chase here from Rich. In goes Bulldog onto that back line, but he's just getting shredded himself. And Berserker just distracted trying to kill an Aatrox. It's not going to happen. The wallets are just too large. And we will have a series on our hands. Game number 3 is on the way as DRX take down game number 2.
Look at how that final push eventuated. I think if the wallets were not heavy, it would have potentially gone disastrously, but I think DRX are very aware that they could just play it like that because they had such a lead.